I'm Rachel Carter, sitting alone in my dimly lit bedroom. The echoes of the engagement party fading downstairs. My fiancé Mark had smiled for our guests all night, his arm around me like a prop. But every laugh, every toast felt hollow. For months it tried to unmask Lisa. His assistant, their sly smirks, heard too close whispers with him shed out, maneuvered me spinning every accusation back to make me the paranoid one. I needed proof, something concrete to crack her polished mask. As I wrestled with my next step, a shadow darted past my window. My heart thudded. I nudged the curtain aside, peering into the night. A man in a dark jacket stood in our driveway, his face half lit by the street lamp. Then Lisa slipped out, glancing around like a thief. My breath hitched. She met him, their voices low, urgent. I fumbled for my phone, snapping blurry shot. Your tense posture, his quick gestures. He pulled an envelope from his coat. She grabbed it, flipping through papers inside. Official-looking documents? My pulse raced. What was she hiding? I strained to hear, but the glass muffled their words. Then she nodded, tucked the envelope away, and they parted deep into the shadows. Her back and side, I sank onto the bed. Photos trembling on my screen. This wasn't just suspicion. Anymore, Alyssa was up to something, and Mark might be too. We'd been together 3 years, building a life I thought was solid. HTT proposed under the oak, in our yard. Promising forever, but lately HTT glued to his phone, brushing off my questions with work's crazy rat. Lisa was always there, hovering, her excuses too smooth-eyed. Confronted her. Once her cool Dean allure, imagining things, leaving me doubting myself. Now this sleep eluded me at dawn. I scrolled the photos, grainy but damning. I had to know more. Mark left early, claiming a meeting. I waited, then tailed Lisa when she slipped out. Mid-morning, she drove to a diner downtown, meeting the same man hidden in my car. I watched them huddle over coffee, her handing him cash. My hands shook as I zoomed in, his face clearer now, rugged, unfamiliar. What was she buying? I couldn't storm in. I needed leverage back home. I dug on anything on her to clean. But instinct screamed, this was bigger than an affair. Days crawled by. Mark's late nights piled up, his excuses thin. Lisa's helping with a deal, HTC avoiding my eyes. I played along, smiling while plotting. Then a break-us laptop left open. I hesitated, then typed. Passwords had changed, but one file lingered. Contracts inside, emails Lisa to an unknown address. Fiji mentions of the transfer and keep him out. My stomach dropped. Was marked the him. Were they stealing from his firm? I copied it all, heart pounding as headlights flash him home. I confronted him that night, voice steady. What's Lisa doing with those papers? He froze, then laughed. What papers? You're losing it. I showed the photos. His jaw tightened. That's nothing. Business with a stranger at midnight. I pressed. He snapped. Drop it, Rachel. You're jealous. His deflection fueled me. I wouldn't let this go. Next day, I hired a Pitum read. Gruff, no nonsense. Get me proof, I said, handing him the pics. He nodded. 2 weeks. Tom worked fast. A week in, he called Meet Menno at a cap. He slid me a folder, bank records, photos, a name, Paul Grayson, the man Lisa's paying him to forge docs. Tom said they're siphoning funds from Mark's company. He's in on e-tour. Clueless. My chest tightened. Betrayal either way. Photos showed Lisa and Paul at a hotel, papers spread out. Emails linked her to offshore accounts. Signature on some. I felt sick. My fiancé, my future. A lie that night. Mark came home, oblivious. I waited. Folder hidden. We need to talk, I said, calm. He sighed. What now? I laid it out, folks. Emails, proof. His face drained. This isn't what it looked. Stop, I cut in. You're stealing her, letting her. Which is it? He stammered. Then slumped. She said, it'd save the firm. I didn't know how deep rage flared. You didn't know, or didn't care. He had no answer. Lisa had played us both. But HD letter I left that night, bag packed. Ring off. Tom's evidence went to the cops. I filed for fraud reports. Lisa's arrest came fast, marks too tangled in her web. I moved to a small apartment, the quiet both heavy and free. Friends drifted, whispers followed, but I stood tall. It loved a mirage, built a life on sand now. It'd rebuild Alani stronger. The oak where HD proposed mocked me from afar, but it'd grow beyond its shade.